Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner. Today we don't have our white light board, we actually have our general purpose expert, Richard, who is joining us today again. And today we're stepping away a little bit from data protection, which is our season, what our season's all about. And we're going to just delve into a couple of news items which has become relevant and topical. It really just depends on when this episode airs. It might be old by that time.
Yeah.
But I don't think what's going to get old is generative AI.
No,
Not right now, and it's something I guess that we have to speak about because,
everyone's doing it.
Why not?
Yeah.
So I found this interesting news article that was on mybroadband.co.za. Great bunch of guys, and it's titled ChatGTP, which is one of the main generative AI platforms or tools. Is writing, a flood of Amazon Kindle books, and these are being published.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are paying to read these AI-generated books. Maybe a novelty thing, excuse the pun, but that's where we are. So I mean, what is Richard, our general purpose expert? What do you think? I mean, generative AI. What is it?
Well, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to ask it directly. Now, I've written the question, what does ChatGPT stand for in ChatGPT?
Okay. And we hit enter. Let's hope there's...
There we go. In ChatGPT, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. GPT is a type of language model developed by OpenAI that is pre-trained on a large corpus of text data and can be fine-tuned for various natural language processing tasks, including languages, generation, machine translation, and question answering. Chat in ChatGPT indicates that this particular instance of the GPT model is designed for conversational use.
Okay. So that's not that difficult if you're a AI understanding, kind of platform.
Yes, if you're an AI person, yeah.
So basically what it means is that this is a statistical model,
Mm-hmm.
right? A neural network that is designed to generate text. In this case, text. It can also be text, images or other outputs based on what it's inspired by through its learning.
Absolutely.
So, having a conversation with it, or there's other tools such as Midjourney, which produces images, if I'm not mistaken.
Text to image, yeah.
So you put literally a text prompt.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to have a blue unicorn riding a purple dolphin in an ocean on Mars, and literally it will go.
Within seconds, you can have a photorealistic image of that, or several.
Well, so I mean, now to get back to how this has been, I don't know if abused or misused, but so people are using literally these generative AIs to write an entire book, probably using the illustrations from Midjourney, and they cobble all of this together, chuck it onto Amazon, and people are buying this.
Yeah, you got a nice little passive income all of a sudden from a book you wrote from a prompt and a couple of images. You said, I'd like an image like XYZ.
Okay, so I mean, this can open up an entire can of worms on, is that, ethical, or, what about, I don't know, some kind of copyright laws and all of those type of things. And I mean, that's not the purpose of this, but I guess those things are going to get blurred with generative AI, right?
Well, they are, because the interesting thing is typically the source that this is trained on, and training is quite literally that you feed it examples, and it looks at these examples, processes that, and then based on the prompt you give it, compiles it to its best ability. So basically you ask it, you tell it what you want, and it goes and pulls all the pieces from wherever it can to create the best approximation of that request.
So I mean, it's still a statistical response.
It's a statistical response based on other people's work.
Very interesting. Who would have thought that art, which is inherently human, right? It is there's nothing else known in the planet that actually creates art in the same way that humans do, and it's now being usurped by
computers,
by a neural network. Crazy,
stuff. Yeah.
So I mean, this is one application. As Data Sciences Corporation, we're not immune to AI. In fact, it's something that we do. So, Richard, do we use some form of generative AI in assisting our work?
Absolutely. I think it's incumbent on any good technology company to see what's coming out and see how we can evolve with it and improve what we do. And I know, for example, in our development division, we have guys who are now leveraging ChatGPT in this particular example, to speed up their delivery of code and technologies. So an example would be they're trying to implement some function, and you can go to ChatGPT and say, this is the function I'm trying to implement, please help me write it. And it will give you the skeleton and the framework, and you can then follow up the prompt. And this is another thing about ChatGPT which is quite special. It's a conversational AI, meaning it has a memory of the discussion of the conversation you've had, and it's all within context. So if you say to it, well, please update that function that you've written for me and add XYZ to it, it will rewrite it in context and give you that new function. And what it does is it allows you to very quickly develop and rapid prototype technologies. It isn't perfect.
No.
And that's where skills are still required. You still need to have the wherewithal and the analytical capability to look at the code and discern that it is in fact doing what you're doing and it isn't making certain mistakes. And it will even itself will tell you, my apologies, I made a mistake, when it does.
So and I think that's the big thing, because a lot of people are potentially, worried about, how this replaces certain things. And I think that's important, is that understanding, providing context, and all of those things is still relevant. It's still relevant in utilizing these tools.
It's the oversight that's key. So there's the typical adage, or not the typical, but the traditional adage: garbage in, garbage out. If you give it a bad prompt, you won't get what you need. So it is important that, however and for whatever purpose you are using it, you still provide the correct context to it. You're no longer doing the research yourself, but you certainly need to give it the right context in order to get the results you need. And you need to be able to analyze those results and apply them accordingly.
Brilliant. Well, that's our quick take on generative AI, some of the uses, some of the misuses, and we're going to see how these things pan out. We take it a little bit further. So thank you very much for joining us on our little news update on Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner and with Richard. And we really appreciate your time as viewers. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Please don't forget to like, share, and follow our LinkedIn page.